So today I'm diving headfirst into the world of Douyin makeup. This is where everything could go completely right or where you have to decide to start over from scratch. This is my before and this is my after. So today I'm diving headfirst into the world of Douyin makeup. This is that look that is soft, doll-like, ethereal. It makes you question if the person is real or AI generated. And listen, if this works on me, then it's about to be my new go-to routine. Like, look at this. Like, this is the goal. Flawless, delicate, slightly unreal. But I have a tutorial, I have pictures, I have my products, and I have hope. I've never done this style before, so let's see if I can actually pull this off, or am I going to fall flat on my face, quite literally. I'm breaking this whole tutorial down into 5 parts: base, blush, eyes, lashes, and lips. So let's get our hair out the way and let's get started. Let's go! Okay, step 1, glass skin. We need to look like we are glowing from within. We need to look like we have been blessed by the skincare gods. Now, my personal go-to when it comes to makeup, when it comes to skincare, to anything, is to use a facial serum over a moisturizer, and that's what I'm going to use today. I personally feel like a nice facial oil, whether you make it at home or buy it in store, it acts as like a little protective layer. It goes deeper into the skin, acts as a protective barrier, and personally for me, I just think that this is a reason why I do not break out as much, no matter how much makeup I put on. So I am grabbing my coconut oil. It's literally just a regular brown bottle and coconut oil is in it, but let's get started. Now that my face is properly hydrated, I will let you know the important trick with Douyin makeup is to keep everything light, sheer, and flawless. Basically the opposite of my problems. But if you do look at their techniques, it is all very subtle and it is all very precise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my foundation. I am using Fenty Beauty's Easy Drop Foundation because I want that light and sheer finish, and I am going to use one of their cushions to pat it in. So let's get that done. Next on our base is under eye concealer. Our secret weapon is finally here. We are going for bright but not ghostly. Think I woke up like this, not I woke up in the afterlife. And if you look at Douyin makeup and how their concealer is, it really does brighten up the face, and it is strategically placed, especially around the nose and mouth area, to ensure that no matter what angle you take your picture at or what video you take it at, you are getting the brightness exactly where you need it. So I am going to be using my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, as well as a little flathead brush, especially so I could get around certain areas around my mouth and my nose, so that way I can brighten up those areas and prevent any fine lines or shadows. This one, it's not in the picture that I have displayed here, but if you put it right here under your nose, it does get rid of any extra shadows that could be, in that little wrinkle area for your mouth. Same with the corners here on your mouth, like where your frown lines would be, we can get rid of that completely. Okay, and now I'm just going to go back in with that cushion. I'm just going to use the bottom of it because there's nothing there to kind of blend this part in. And also I can fold the cushion just to get into the inner corners of my eyes. Okay, now that our secret weapon is applied, you can see it brightens my face a whole lot, but we are not done. One thing you notice when it comes to Douyin makeup is that it all has a nice matte finish. What shines is supposed to shine and usually has glitter on it. So the next step in our base is powder. Today I'm using Fenty's setting powder in Banana, and we are going to use that mainly in our T area as well as certain parts along our cheeks, just for definition, because we really want this to set. And I'm putting it everywhere, but I'm just putting a heavy focus once again here, under eyes, and a little bit along this lifting portion. And I am not caking it on. I'm not baking my face in an oven. I'm just putting a light dusting just to make sure everything is nice, matte finish. If anything, I can always touch it up afterwards, but something light that's not gonna cake on too much, because if I do put too much setting powder in person and sometimes even on camera, you are going to be able to see that. It's gonna look very cakey. It's gonna just look like a thick layer on top of your skin. So we are keeping it light. As you can see, very light, and compared to my neck, nice and matte. Now that it's settled, we're just gonna dust that off. So the last step when it comes to setting our base for Douyin makeup is contour. And I'm emphasizing that it is contour, not bronzer. And just to show you guys, I have here on my hand, this bottom one is contour. You see it's a little bit gray, and the top is bronzer where it's a bit brown. Contour kind of has a grayed out look to it because it's meant to mimic shadows. Now, in Douyin makeup, they don't really use bronzer much because the look is not supposed to be tan. But they do use contour, so they mimic shadows to create shadows on their face. I'm going to be using this SHEGLAM contour and highlight stick, so that way I could properly do that. So let's go ahead and add some contour shadows to my face. I did just add some eye contour here as well as kind of uplift on my mouth, so that way I can create kind of a nice shadow definition to give my eyes a little bit more of an intense look, as well as subtle smile lines, so that way I look a bit happier just in case I don't feel like smiling. But let's blend it all out. Okay, so we have that little subtle shadow kind of going on. It's not that noticeable, but it's enough to give a little definition, a little shadow, make my cheeks look a little bit more shapely. Of course, the more contour you add, the more you build it up, the more definition is gonna show on your face. I'm not gonna do it right now because I still want my face to be full, but I still, as you guys can see, like, I still want some definition there. So from here, guys, the only last thing I would add, and this is optional for everybody, but not optional for me, is eyebrows. This is the time where you would fix your eyebrows, make sure they look in shape. As you guys know, I am missing half of my eyebrow due to alopecia, but it is growing back, and hopefully by the end of the year it will be there. Until then, I am going to be using this pen from Music Flower to fill in that brow. If you guys want to touch up your brows, now is the time to do so. I'm also going to use my Benefit Brow Gimme Gel to kind of get everything to work. Alright guys, so that is everything for the base. As you can see, our skin looks hydrated. It looks matte, smooth, but still has like a nice soft glow to it. That's the hydration. These shadows on our face are small, they're subtle, and the brightness is where it needs to be. Overall, if you want to stop here, you absolutely can, but let's get on to step 2. Okay, this step is all about the eyes. Our eyeshadow is going to be soft, diffused, and it's usually pink toned. Usually. Nothing too harsh. Pretty much we want to give fairy who only speaks in whispers. Remember, Douyin makeup is all about soft, subtle, and very precise location. So I'm actually grabbing my COLORROSE palette, and this one, let me show you guys, has all of that. You see that? Soft, pink, diffuse. Now with these, they do show up very light, very subtle, so it's very important for us to make sure that we are really packing on the color and we have control. It's buildable eyeshadow, for lack of a better term, but let's get into it. We are actually going to start off with a soft, lighter pink color because we want our eyes to have all of that. Okay, so you see the first eye? You see the slight difference? We're gonna build on this. This is just the beginning. Now we are going to go into a darker color for the eye to add dimension. And remember, blending is key because we want soft dimension, not a full smoky eye. This is flirty, this is innocent, this is not threatening, this is not intense. So back in this palette, going for a little bit of a darker color and mainly working on the outside corner. And just a little tip, if you hold your brush closer to where the brush part is, you're gonna actually be pressing harder. But if you hold it further away, it's gonna press lighter, allow you to do a bit more of a diffused look to it, versus up close where you pat it, it's gonna be more packed, more intense. Just a little hint. Also, if it helps with blending, you could always take a a brush that you haven't used that has a nice clean edge, and you could use that to just touch up on any blending. Okay guys, so this is our beginning portion. There's just a little bit of definition here, a little bit of blend with the color. It blends really soft into each other. We are going to keep adding to this, so if you're stuck here and you're worried, it is okay. Don't worry about it. We are getting there. Do not overthink the process. You are going to be fine. Now from here, what we are going to do is we are going to add a little bit of highlight, especially because as you can see, the colors, they blend nice and smooth, but there's nothing really pulling you to the eye. So I'm gonna go into my COLORROSE contour palette right here, and I'm gonna use the pointier side, a nice more defined side, and I'll show you this palette. We have a little bit of like bronzer contour going on here, down here and here, just a light contour. We have a little bit of glitter, and then we have this nice white powder. This white powder we are also going to use as a highlight, but a matte highlight, and we are going to use it in certain places, mainly our nose, along the bridge, corners of the eyes, and even under the eye. We want to draw attention to the eyes. We want to make our eyes look big. So you see, we only did a little of the nose, and bam, there's a shine there. A much more vibrant shine. That's what we want. We don't want it to be too much glitter, because we are going to add glitter to the eyes, as well as work with eyeliner to draw even more attention there. Okay, so you guys see where we put the highlight? It is drawing it in. I am gonna add a little bit of that highlight on the top in the corner up here on the lid, so that way I have a little bit more subtle dimension when it comes to the eyes, and I draw it right into the inner corner. This part, optional, as you can see, it's not on the picture. I just want to add it anyways. Then always just blend it out. And of course, before we're done with any eye makeup whatsoever, any eyeshadow, we have to add glitter, because if your eyes don't sparkle like you're about to cry in the prettiest way possible, are you even doing Douyin makeup? The answer is no. The answer is no. If you guys were asking, the answer is no. So I'm going back into my COLORROSE palette, and I'm gonna use one of the glitters they have here, maybe even two, and let's shine up our eyes. Ooh, that's so pretty. Can you see that? Look at that one eyeball. It's just so shiny. So shiny. Okay guys, so look at that. This is just the glitter on the inside. It's the lighter glitter. I think I'm gonna add a darker glitter to the outside, so that way the full eye gets that nice shine, that nice glow. And if you could see the glitter shining from here, it's shining even brighter in person. My recommendation when using a glitter eyeshadow is not to use a brush like I did, one that moves around, but instead to use a flat head brush like what I did with the concealer. It allows you to be a bit more precise, so that way you don't have the glitter flying everywhere. So if you look at my eyes, there's a certain part right here in the beginning where the eyeshadow is not lined up properly with my actual eye. You could do a lot more precise with a flat head brush, but for now we're just gonna go into a darker glitter. This is the one I used before. This is the one I'm gonna use for the outer corner, and we're just gonna add all the glitter all the time. We are in the next step of our Douyin makeup tutorial, and this step is a step I fear the most. This is where everything could go completely right, or where you have to decide to start over from scratch. Because in this section, we are working with lashes and we are working with eyeliner. And both of these is where you can go very, very right or very, very wrong. So, when it comes to lashes, I am going to possibly work with a few things. First, I'm going to work with my COLORROSE contour palette to try to get that waterline and then that eye definition, especially for under the eye, to make that little under eye fat more pronounced. And then I may be using a brown liner to do the edges, but if I am feeling a bit more confident, I will be using a black liner. Right now, it's looking like I'm going to keep things subtle, so I will start with the contour liner right here, so that way we can make, you know, the shadows right, because honestly all we need is a tiny straight wing that lifts the eye without making it too heavy. So let's see if we can make everything work. Remember, I'm gonna do the under eye fat definition, emphasize the under eye waterline, and try to create a little bit of shadow towards the edge as well as the upper waterline, so that way I could open my eyes a bit more and create some type of guide for the actual liner. Wish me luck, because I need it. As you guys can see, I did a little bit of the under eye fat here definition. I'm not gonna do much because I naturally have a lot of those. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. I might add a little bit more highlight under here, just so that way I could smooth that out a bit more. And I will blend it out, but all you really need is just one swipe and then blend all throughout. So just fix that up a little bit. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the glitter here, so that way I can fix that up, brighten it up, so that way I don't look too tired and it looks more charming, if that makes sense. Okay, so it's slight, it's subtle right under the eye. Let's go into defining the actual eye more, so that way that liner won't be as scary for me. I think I'm actually gonna touch this up with black, because I'm noticing, like, because of the under eye fat that's always put on, the emphasis of it, I feel like it's hiding the wing itself, so I am gonna pray. Okay guys, look at this, right? Not so bad, not so bad. We have the black liner, which is kind of lifting our face a little bit. And I use this SHEGLAM Precision Eyeliner, so definitely check that out. I do like the shape of that one. But next is the part I dread the most, the part that takes me the longest with my makeup, because I am going to be using clusters, because I struggle with putting on lashes. But that's where we're at. We're at the lashes, which are wispy, delicate, and strategically placed. Basically the opposite of my life choices, because I just wing it. But I am going to go back in with my lashes that I have right here, and I'm going to grab my Kiss glue, which is right here, and we are going to now proceed to take our time putting out the lashes. I think I'm gonna do what I did last time, where I just put it on the edge, mainly 3 to 4 on the edge, just to give myself a wide fanned out look, and it kind of blends in with my lashes. If you do have a full set of lashes or half lash, this might be easier for you. If you do have a really good pair of magnetic lashes, this is definitely for you. But for me, I'm gonna wing it with these clusters and wish for the best. Okay guys, so I have my lashes on. Honestly, it took me forever. It's not the best placement, but I got it to where it kind of opens up my eyes a bit more of a dramatic flare. I'm very happy to get through with that ordeal because now we are on my favorite step of every makeup routine, which is blush. And today I'm using the Kakashow blush, which is like a little orange pinkish blush going on here. And blush placement, guys, is everything. If I do this wrong, I'll look overheated, but if I do this right, I will look cute, and that is what we are going for. I do want to say you can do blush much earlier. A lot of them do it before they do any eye makeup, but because I know my eye makeup for this was gonna be the most difficult for me, I decided to put blush a little bit towards the end so that way I could just fix any areas with the blush. Oh my gosh, I think I love this blush. It's so pigmented. It's really pigmented. And just FYI, I am bringing my blush into the outer corner of my eyeshadow so that way it kind of blends into that. Okay, right? Instant anime protagonist energy. This blush is like the blush of innocence. Like, I just got complimented and now I'm flustered, but in an adorable way. But you see how the blush just changes how happy you look. I am gonna touch up with my Miho white pencil. It has a little bit of glitter on this. I'm just gonna touch up on highlight areas on my nose, just so that way I can keep that going. And as always, we will blend it out. Okay guys, we are finally up to the last part in the Douyin makeup routine, which is lips. More specifically, a gradient lip, because nothing says soft and delicate like lips that look effortlessly bitten. But I do not have the proper smudge tool for it, so I'm gonna try my best. I have a lip liner, I have a flathead brush, and then I have some gloss. I am gonna be attempting to follow one of these two options to see if I could get, you know, my lips to work out in that way. Wish me luck, but here we go. I'm going to be grabbing this Clinique liner that I got from my mom and seeing if it shows. And now I'm just gonna grab my Fenty Clear Gloss. Okay, so that was my attempt, and look at this. This is a lip of secrets. Like, I know something you don't, like how to make my lips look nice. And you're gonna spend the next hour trying to figure it out. But honestly, I just followed one of these routines. I realized that the way you put the gloss, you have to blend it the way you blend your makeup. Blend in the direction you want it to go for the smudge. So in particular, for instance, there was one line going down the middle. I had to blend out on the bottom. The top, I still have to work on it. I'm figuring out. But it looks really, really nice in person. The whole makeup looks really, really nice in person. So with that being said, let's close things up. And here we are, Douyin transformation complete. This is my before and this is my after. Did I nail it or do I look tired? Be honest, but be kind, because there's a few things I really liked in this tutorial and a few things I need to work on. But if you've made it this far, tell me, what's that one beauty trend you've always wanted to try but haven't yet? Because if you say it, I might just do it next. Who knows? But like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see me struggle through another makeup trend, aesthetic, or whatever, or if there's something that you want to see me try. I'd also love to hear your comments about this attempt at Douyin makeup, all down in the comments below. So see you next time. Bye!